Sure, it's working.
And we're
Okay.
recording to the cloud, incidentally, not to my
Sure.
computer.
This this is one I'm keeping an eye on this one.
All
Oh,
right.
He's
That's
that's
one of
cute.
your Havanese, I am.
yeah, she's a
What's
10
his
month old 10-month-old terror.
Ha, that's
Wow.
why he's in the room, huh?
Yeah, yeah, she gets into everything.
What's her
Big
name?
star.
This is Abby.
Mm.
It's our third and final.
Heard that before.
Third and final. We have 3 dogs.
Mm.
And,
Wow.
and we just had a so my next door neighbor has a deck, and he had a bobcat give birth to a couple of bob kittens.
Wow.
So
Cute.
we have a family of bobcats next door now.
Oh, no kidding.
Nice.
So it's just been a real challenge over the last week. We've been away for 3 weeks, so we just got back, and just trying to keep the dogs away from the bob kittens and the bobcat. And of
Jeez.
course, the bob kitten's mom is very protective of the bobcat. So we're just trying to keep everybody safe. It's like Animal Kingdom up here.
My God.
Kevin, what
Yeah.
town do you live in? You
Oh,
have
we're
bobcats.
we're in Farmington.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. You have bears and everything.
Yeah, I
There.
mean, we'll get bears through the property about once a week. We have a lot of fox. Um,
Wow.
I had a couple of I had two sets of eyes looking at me last night when I had the dogs out. I thought it was the bob kittens. It turned out to be a couple of possums. And those guys are a riot. If you happen to startle them, I had one freeze. He was walking right along my fence, right along the top rail, and he froze. And it was a riot. I mean, he just froze there for like 30 minutes. He was like,
Wow.
That's so it's true. They play possum. That's great.
yeah, they just freeze. It's a chemical and it takes their body like 30 to 45 minutes for that chemical to come out of the body, and then they're able to move
Wow.
and take off again. But
So
My
it's something that's out of their control. It's a reflex
yeah,
thing.
it's a reflex. Yeah.
Wow.
No
Yeah.
kidding.
my dogs were outside going nuts one night, and I went out there and there was a possum on the ground. I thought they killed it because they've killed a possum before.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't feel like dealing with it. I hate scooping up like warm bodies. So I was like, I'll get this in the morning when it's stiff and throw it in the woods. And I went out there in the morning, poof, it was gone. So it was
Gone.
probably a possum.
They
But
play
it
dead, yeah.
fools the dog. Yeah, it fooled the dog. So
They
they're
play
like,
Yeah.
all
dead.
right, whatever.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Nancy,
guess
you'll
what?
appreciate this. I have 3 bobcats that are
Oh,
living next door to me.
jealous.
A mother and 2 kittens. So I got to keep my
Oh,
dogs. So my dogs are out on leash,
yeah.
and just trying to keep them away from the bobcat and the bob kittens. But I think the more we've been away for like 3 weeks, now we're back. And now that we're back, they're having a tendency to stay out of the yard more.
Yeah.
So it should all be good.
Yeah,
Just think
I
of the
get
photo
coyotes in the
ops.
back, and those things these are the healthiest coyotes I've ever seen. They look like wolves. And I got to keep
Wow.
the dogs. I have a fenced in yard, but I don't like them barking at like midnight, so I have to put them on a leash during the mating season. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Quite a few people on. Should we start or should we
Yeah,
wait a
I
few?
mean it is 7 o'clock. I mean 6:30.
Well, it's 6:30, yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, I would
Okay.
say it's 6:30. I would say, Dolores, you're good to get started. Welcome everybody.
I just want to get my thing here. You're gonna put my screen up?
I
So
was
you're
at
in
work today, and I said I should have gotten a camera. I'll order one at some point.
Yeah. So Dolores, you're gonna want to do a share screen. And
Uh,
if you move
I
your
do
mouse,
that?
Yeah.
Do I do it?
Right there at the
Okay.
bottom of your
Yep.
screen, there should
All
be a
right.
green
Hold on.
square.
yep, right on the lower portion
Hold
of
on.
the
I
Zoom
came
window.
out of it, so I have to go back in. Hold on one second.
Okay.
Yeah. Here I am. Okay. At the bottom, it's a red thing.
No, green.
Green.
It's a little green with a
Green.
little arrow up arrow. It will say share screen.
Oh, yeah, I got it.
Okay. And then you're gonna select,
Then,
and then you can select the PowerPoint.
oh, okay.
You're not
As I
sharing.
share.
No,
Nope,
There
here we
you
go.
There you go.
And then from beginning. From beginning. Okay.
Right. You're in it.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Simsbury Camera Club Printing and Framing Panel Discussion. My name is Dolores Brown. I've been with the club for about this was my third year. I've been the secretary of the club for the last year. This is my second year. I've learned a lot from this club. I hope everybody else feels the same way, especially with judging. And it's a really good experience for me. So I was at a club meeting and I was asking all the members what they were going to be hanging in the December library hang up. And a lot of people said to me, "Oh, I don't frame anything." And I said, "Why?" They said, "I have no idea where to print it, how to frame it." So I thought this would be a good opportunity for people to learn from other people in the club and share our knowledge. So as far as the panel, I was asking for panel members because I wanted a good representation of all the different things we're going to talk about, and I got that. Thank you so much to everybody who offered to be on the panel. But anybody else on the call can jump in at any time, give your input, ask questions. I think it'll be a good thing. So the other thing we're going to talk about, there's so many great opportunities to enter your photos in contests and exhibits and even sell some of your work. So I thought Quinn is going to talk quite a bit about that. And we've got a list of places that you can do so. And I hope everybody takes that opportunity at some point. Let's see. So the meeting format. So it's going to be based on the survey that you all took. And then we'll just go through it. And I have an agenda here. So let's go. So the agenda is we're going to do an overview of the survey results, we'll talk about printing, talk about matting and framing, adding wires, and then outside competitions and exhibits. So thank you to the 30 members that responded to the survey. I think we have like 70 some odd people in the club. So about half the people, and I don't know if the other half never frame or always frame. I don't know. So I think we'll find out. And these are the people that are on the panel. I know there's probably a few other people who either we didn't get their name or they asked to be on the panel after I created this, but everybody's welcome to contribute. So printing. 8% they said they do not print their photographs. I think that's kind of high for a photography club. 8% to me is a lot of people, but again, half the people didn't respond, so I don't know. 28% print at a store, 43% print using online printing companies, but some do both. And 23% surprisingly print using their own computers. So right now, I just want to talk about store printing and online printing. We'll talk about home printers separately. So anybody want to jump in and talk about their experiences with printing at these places, good, bad, cost, experiences, whatever. So feel free to jump in. Anybody?
I'll go.
Okay.
For just real basic stuff, if it's not, you're not going to put in a show or you want small prints, Walgreens is like fantastic. You can get stuff there printed like one day, the same day within a couple hours. Um, their their papers are lighter weight and not as robust as from some of the online printers, but they almost always have specials nearly every week where you can get half off price and that sort of thing. And the other thing, let's see, are we talking just about stores for the moment?
You can talk about online company, you could versus, one versus the other, quality
I've used Nations
differences.
Photo a great deal, and they similarly have specials and a wide variety of choices, and I've been happy with them generally. Lately, I've been using White House Color, the one at the bottom of the list, WHCC, and they're all the way in Minnesota, but their turnaround is really quick to get it back to you. Um, and again, both of them, the paper is a little heavier than what you would get at Walgreens. The prices are accordingly a little more. What I've discovered is that some companies, it's easier. The online navigation is easier than others. I like the White House color place, but I've had a little more difficulty reordering if I have something that I want to redo. It's harder or I've had a harder time finding what I previously ordered as I would if I was at Walgreens or Nation's Photo. So anyway, those are my thoughts for
Yeah.
that right now.
Dolores, I've used Walmart a few times and honestly, I mean, it's same day service and I've been happy with the quality, but I would be curious if other members have used it and said, you know what, compared to X, Walmart's quality wasn't good, but for me, it's been good.
And so I know, Mark, you do a lot of selling of your photos. So do you just do the quick Walmart or what is it, Walgreens? What did you
Walgreens.
say?
It
Or do you?
depends. It depends. And there have been a few times when I've gone to Walgreens and it comes back and the colors are off, but they will reprint it for you, and sometimes it'll come out as the way you want it. Um, if I want a larger print, especially something that's more durable, because the other thing is about when you have the lighter weight paper, if you have a large print, it's easy to get a little buckle in it or something, and that can, especially if you have a really sort of a plain, like a dark background, it's going to show up, and so that's an issue. But the other thing about like the online printers is you often have a choice of what kind of paper you want, flat, pearl,
Yep.
more sort of an archival, nicer, like a watercolor print almost, and you can get coatings. Like I've been doing some lately from WHCC where I have kind of a linen, it's a sprayed on uh, texture, but I like the look of that for some of mine.
Yeah, I don't like CVS at all. I think their paper is quality is really not good and their colors are iffy. So I wouldn't recommend CVS. That's for my list.
I think a lot of that probably depends on the place you go to and whether the machine's calibrated and all that. And to the
Makes
point of the paper, the paper makes a big difference in the print.
Yeah.
You remember that at CVS, at Walgreens, the folks that work there have no training
Yeah.
Yeah.
in
Right.
any of
They
this.
push
So
the button.
it's
Yeah.
really hit and miss, and you have to be lucky. I've been disappointed enough so that I never use those. I personally most of the time use MPix. It's a very good lab.
Yep.
It comes from Kansas, and they send it out very quickly. They are very responsive to your likes and dislikes. I have gotten things framed through them, which I've been very pleased with. And Bay Photo is the other one that I've used. I'm also very happy with the quality of the prints. It tends to be a little more expensive, but the options are greater at Bay Photo. I personally have taken to not ever printing with glass. I'm putting glass in front of anything anymore because to me it so often detracts from what's underneath, and I don't hang them in sunlight, and
Yep.
I'm not looking to have these be archival pieces. I'm smart enough to know that as soon as I'm gone, a lot of this is going in the trash.
I doubt it.
Not true, John.
No.
Not
No.
true.
No, it's probably true.
That's true. That's my 2 cents. And by the way,
I
MPix
don't think so.
through tomorrow is having a 50% off sale on
Mhm.
8x10 and 14x11 prints. So
Oh.
Right.
if you want
I
Who,
do.
who
Good
is?
to
What's
know.
which
MPix.
company?
MPix.
MPix. Oh, great. All right.
MPix, yeah.
I've used Canvas on Demand when I had
Yeah.
back in the day when I had a Groupon for it, and I will tell you that they were really good because they don't just do canvas. I think I got metal prints from them too. But one of the photos I sent them, the image I sent them, they reached out to me and said, hey, they wanted to know if they wanted to do this and that and the other thing on it. She wanted me to send it better. This is back when I first got back into photography or whatever. And she wanted me to and she worked with me really a lot on getting the image exactly how I wanted it to be. And they did a really nice job on it.
Wow.
Mm.
And they're really inexpensive for canvas.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've used Canvas Champs and I do like them. The only thing is one time the sawtooth hangers were upside down on the wrong end. But and one time it was like they
Maybe a
wrapped
photo was
canvas.
upside down.
I just took them off and fixed them. I wasn't going to send it back.
Yeah.
But one time it was wrapped, but the corner of it was funny. I can't explain it. Some of the color wasn't showing right. And I called them and they sent me a brand new one and they let me keep the old one.
Mm.
So I gave the old one to my sister hanging
As
in her house.
somebody that has printed at home on canvas,
Yeah.
and my printer, well, I know we're not talking about home printing yet, but the printer will print up to 13 by 19. So I printed on that, but you have to if you want to wrap the border,
Oh, yeah.
then a 13 by 19, even if you're putting
Shrinks
out an 11
down.
by 14, you don't
Yeah.
have a lot of room to stretch that canvas. I know that
No.
when you're printing them with a
Mm.
commercial company, they obviously have a better way of doing it, but trying to do it from home, oh man, it was tough.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So Nancy, what do you do? Do you buy the frame like at Michael's and then wrap the canvas yourself?
We're not talking about that, Amy. Keep talking about
We're still on printing, Amy.
Still on printing.
Sorry.
No, no, we're still
We have a
using
bunch of
commercial
questions
company.
for that.
Nope.
Yeah.
Can I just make a quick comment here before we
Yeah,
move
sure.
on
Of
away from
course.
printing? So the
Yep.
only physical store that I've used is Camera Bar, and they're very, very good. So I do a lot of printing because I think some of you know, I do have open studios that I participate in with other Simsbury artists. So I do print in quite a bit of volume, especially in preparation for that each year. But I use almost exclusively online companies and some of the ones that are listed here, like specifically, I like MPix. I like Nations Photo Lab. I've used Shutterfly, and actually, Shutterfly I have found is quite good for
Really?
with metal prints.
Oh,
So
okay.
prints on aluminum. I've had very good outcomes from them, not the others when I've printed on aluminum. I also, yeah, I think those are the main ones that I've used on this list. But I do want to mention just very recently, like in this past month, I've wanted to do a custom size print. So typically when you go through these retailers, the ones listed here, um, they're very specific in the size of the prints, right? You're either going to do 4x6, 8x10, 11x14, and so on. And I was working on a project where I really wanted a custom size print and custom size matting to go with that print. So
Yeah.
just this past month, I came across Finer Works. That's the name of the company. They're online. I don't know if anybody else has any experience with them, but I
No.
just recently ordered prints that are 4x8. So that's the print size itself, and then matted. So that's a 1:2 ratio, and then matted to 8x12 on a mat that I selected. And it came out, I was really pleased with how it came out. So that's another option for a
Does the
company.
cost go way up when you do these
The
special
custom,
sizes? Yeah.
yes, but not as much as I thought that it would. So for me, that size print, 4x8, matted specifically to 8x12 on a black mat on a very thick sort of foam board. Came out to about $7 a print.
Oh, that's cheap.
So
Yeah.
I thought that was
Wow.
really
Yeah.
Right.
That's
reasonable
really good.
Very
Yeah.
for
reasonable.
that
Yeah.
kind of custom sizing for the
Yeah.
print and the
And the
mat.
mat.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Very
Finer
nice.
Works.
I've actually used a company called Matboard Plus,
I've heard of them.
and that's where I get all my mats.
Okay.
And
Is
because
that where
I
you,
make customs the size I use is custom, and I've ordered 25 at a shot and very large and been very pleased with them. I've
Okay.
used them over and over again. Plus, MPix is what I use for my good pictures, and
Mm.
Walgreens for if you order it now, you can have it before you go to bed. So
True.
True.
that's the ones I give to the grandkids.
What was
Hey,
that?
Bill.
Mat Board Plus,
Yeah,
all customs. And I do. When they normally do it, when you do a size, most of my pictures that I do are rather large. 12 by 18 is the size I usually print.
Yeah.
And when you order a mat board, the sizes, they usually take a whole half inch off your picture. And so I
Yeah.
customize them, make them all a quarter larger. So that's one thing I do. I've added V grooves and I pick my own color, and you can do a lot with it. And if you order in quantity, as long as you don't make a mistake, it's a pretty good deal. I'm still working on mats I ordered years ago.
Bill, I think you told me one time that you ordered mats online. Like, for example, if you ordered an 11 by 14 mat, the opening was actually 11 by 14. Was that with these people, or was that, am I misremembering
These are
something?
the ones I use. Yeah.
Yeah. So do you have to?
Actually, I don't seem to be on the list, but I was going to do a little demo of how I actually put the mat and backing board together and make it work.
Okay, well, we get to matting, we'll definitely look at that.
Okay.
I've had some experience with CVS, Bay Photo, and Printique and Shutterfly.
Yeah.
And if it's the case in all these situations, if you provide a really good, well prepped file, you're going to get great results. I'm surprised one of our other members had problem with CVS. Maybe that the machine at that location was off.
The paper was just real flimsy.
Yeah,
It
well,
was
yeah,
really- yeah.
I used it for I used CVS for Christmas cards one year, and I uploaded to their website, and then went to the local store to pick them up, and they were fine. Bay Photo I've used for large format aluminum prints, and they're really terrific. And I've used Printique for volume printing, where I would prep files through Photoshop and Lightroom, and then upload the file to their service. And again, like I say, if you're using a color managed workflow and have a high-end display, workstation quality display, then you can't miss, because they use color managed workflow. So what you see is what you get.
Yeah. My only problem with Printique, I had some problems with color when I first started using them. They've been better lately, but they tell you they're going to ship it in like 5 days or whatever it is, and sometimes it takes like 2 weeks to get a picture. So if you're trying to get it in for a competition or something, or
Yeah,
an
I
exhibit or something,
would.
you have to order way ahead with them to be sure you get it.
I've done printing mostly with Nations Photo Lab for about 8 years, and I've been very pleased. When there has been a problem, you get a live person on the phone fairly quickly, and they resolve the issue. I had recently a group of 11 by 14s and a 10 by 20 print, and it came with the packaging kind of mangled. The 1114 prints were fine, but the 10 by 20 was messed up. I called them, they sent a new copy right away, no charge. It was really very good.
Good.
I just want to say something about, while we're talking about printing, is that I haven't run across this very often. But Nancy, you might have some thoughts about this too, but sometimes you get gain, they call it gain, and so the print comes out darker than what I had on this. And I
Yeah.
haven't had that too frequently, but once in a while, and I think more so with Walgreens and with some of the other places.
I have it on when I print at home.
Yep.
I feel like I have to lighten it up before I print it.
Is anyone using hardware calibration on their display?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
I
if
do.
I have a problem
Not
with
as
a
often as
print
I should.
being off, 99% of the time, it's my fault.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Um,
I do calibrate my monitor, but I do feel like the print comes out darker than it appears on my screen. And I calibrate the monitor with the light, I follow the steps, so I don't know. It looks fine. It looks just like if I calibrate my monitor and I have a photo, when you guys display it, Camera Club looks the same. When I print it on my printer, it almost always comes out darker than it looks on the screen.
Can I ask a real quick question? You mentioned if you
Sure.
have a well-prepared file, what does that mean and how do you do it?
Well, there are a lot of steps to make sure that you do have a well prepped file. I begin with, like I said, a hardware calibrated monitor. I'm using an ISO, which is professional grade professional workstation monitor. It has a matte surface. It's calibrated to the Adobe RGB color space, and I know that a lot of the newer computers have the P3 color space, which is for video, but which can be close enough. But it also requires that, at least I've found, that I have to pull the shadows up a little bit and dial back the highlights. And if I'm using, and I use it in a not a dim light or not a bright light viewing situation, so that the what I see on the screen is yes, definitely what I get on the print. And this includes the work I do for pre-press. I've done a lot of work prepping files for coffee table books and calendars. So I can't miss.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah.
don't miss. Occasionally I will, like everybody else, but I can get really close with the files that I prep at home.
Yeah, I'm sure it's something I'm doing and I'm missing a step in it, but yeah. If I'm gonna print,
Another thing, that if you're printing at home, you've got to be sure that your settings on your printer
yep,
are compatible with the file and your paper and your ink set.
yep.
Right.
I have a question for you guys. So we were talking about foam backing before we even started this. How do you all feel about foam backing versus just printing the picture? Yeah, and how do you know when to print on paper versus aluminum or canvas? Like, what do you use for a rule?
I'm going to talk about the foam backing. I tried the
Okay.
foam backing, and it was kind of thick for the frames that I had. I'm sure it works great
Yep.
for depending on what frame you're using. But I always, and I know I saw Bill had his little tools out there. I always take the print and use a spray adhesive and attach it to some kind of backer board, whether it's a foam board, a mat board, whatever. And then I use that brayer that I think he has too, and I roll it out onto that board. So it's permanently stuck to that board, but then you don't get any buckling of the print when you put it in the frame. If you don't do that, then you can potentially get like those waves in the thing, because with the humidity or whatever,
Yep.
it's not going to stay flat in the frame.
You order it on the board already? You're saying that will buckle?
Yeah, I don't know
Or
how
bubble?
when you order online. I don't know about when they mat. I have no idea. But when I printed at home, or even if I print at the store, I'd have just the print, and then I would take the print and attach it to the backer board, which I either cut myself or I buy pre-cut.
But what's the advantage of doing that?
Then you
Of
don't
putting
have
in-
it. I don't have it buckling. Like I don't know if that's what Mark was talking about when he said sometimes when he had like the printed on a thinner paper, the paper was warping or whatever. Like you'll see waves in the paper. If you attach it to that board, then you don't have any of that. So I don't have, let me grab your screen for a second. Because I don't have
So
a
if you sell
camera.
want to sell your pictures, is it better to put it on board?
Oh, I sold a couple, like I don't sell them a lot. I lucked out and sold a couple. But I when I did, I had them attached to the board because I had them framed and everything. Now, if I was selling one to someone who said, hey, I want that in a certain size, I'd be like, well, do you want me to mat it? What do you want me to do? But I just sold them when we displayed them at the hospital, and I just gave them as I had done them.
It didn't have a board on it.
It had board on it.
Oh, it didn't.
I'll say, except for the last time I exhibit the library, because some of those things I just printed just for the library exhibit. Every time I print something, I attach it to a backer board or some kind of stiff board that.
Yeah, I do the same.
Yeah,
My
you'll notice a
the
big difference.
Well, the difference in my approach is I'm not spraying. I'm hanging the photo from the backing board. But Dolores, just a time check. It's about 7 o'clock.
Okay.
Did you want to get through a few? I know you had a few other slides on
Yep.
the survey feedback.
Yep.
Do you want to go through those, and then perhaps we can look at some of the techniques by the different panel members?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the home printers though, too, real
Okay.
quick.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yep.
Because my questions are like, what's the advantage of having a home printer? What's the cost? Where do you get supplies? Things like that. Why would you get a home printer? Is it cheaper to print on your own or more control? Like, what is it?
Well,
I've been
I'll say, okay, let's talk.
I've been home printing for years, and it's the best part about it is it's there. And if you make a mistake like we all do, you can reprint immediately. If the lab screws up, well, then you've got you've got the whole turnaround time again to deal with. It's great to have the control of having it right there in front of you. Quinn said about custom sizes. Well, you can obviously if you're at home, you can size the print however you like. That's another good thing. How about supplies? Well, you can get ink and paper from Amazon. What's that? Camera Bar, B&H, Adorama. All these companies stock all the inks and papers. It's
Nancy, what were you saying? How much does it cost you to print a picture?
So I Googled it once,
Yeah.
and then I Googled it again. So
Yes.
so Amy comes over my house and prints photos too. So we devised a method where when we print, we pay for it.
Right.
So that then we can go buy the ink, and that way, if you're printing more, you're paying more. So I came up with this little chart that just for the ink only, I think it was, like to do a 12 by 16 is $3. So you have to do the paper too. So like an 8 by 10 is $1.20, and that was based on my printer.
Right.
And when you
So,
screw up, guess what? You're still paying for that.
Yeah, if you print and you made a mistake, you're still paying for it, Amy Keith.
Yeah, we
Just
have like
because
a
it's just
we
easier to
just
pay
keep
for it.
track of it, and then we put in, and then like we use the Ilford printing paper a lot of times, and then if Nancy has to buy ink for the printer, and sometimes we
Yeah.
have our own printing paper, and I'll bring it over, and then I'm just paying for.
Yeah. We kind of moved to buying our own paper because that was kind of harder to determine. So we have our own favorite papers, and that's where I struggle the most of what paper to use for what type of print I want to do. So I
it's really
have, I don't know.
more convenience to have your home printer. That's what it is. If you do a lot of printing.
Yeah, no, like my dad one time wanted me to print like every picture he had taken with his camera. And I was like, seriously, everyone? And he's like, yes. I was like, this is going to Walmart. I'm not sitting here and printing 4 by 6s of 200 pictures.
Yeah. I think one of the factors to consider is how many prints are you going to be making? If it's not a big number, I think you're better off doing it online rather than.
Oh, I agree. Yep.
Well, it depends what you're
The
doing.
ink dries out.
Yeah.
And if you don't regularly print, you're going to run up much higher costs.
Yeah. So they say that, but I don't use my printer. I go through phases where I use it a lot, and then I won't use it for a month, and I've never had trouble with the the nozzle, and I was doing a little research on my printer for this discussion, and mine is a pigment ink, not a dye ink.
Okay.
And they said that it can clog more, but I have not had a problem with it clogging.
Good.
I
So
have,
right,
yeah,
we're
that
gonna-
is something you have to, they say you should use it like every week, just so that you keep it clean, but yeah,
Kind of like your dishwasher.
I don't use
Comment
that
for
very
all
often either.
the printing there. I agree with everything everybody said. I basically go to Walmart or I've used Canvas on Demand. But for the issue of you want to do an 8x12 and they do 8x10s at 11x14, you size your picture to be an 8x12, but then you size your canvas or the piece of paper
Yeah.
to be
Yep.
11x14.
Hmm.
Then you send it off to Walmart, Walgreens, or whatever one, and you want to get it printed, you get it printed 11x14, then you trim it afterwards, and you got your 8x12 or
Right.
any oddball size you want. You size it for that, and just make sure put a bigger piece of paper.
Yep, that's what I do too for square pictures.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna move on to matting because I don't want to waste your night. So here we go.
Well, the
So
other thing,
matting.
I just want to add one thing about
Yep.
printing at home, and I think Jim had said it too, is like when you print at home, when you go, I print from Lightroom in the print module, and you can load, and this is important, I load I think it's the ICC profile of the paper you're using, because that does make a difference in the quality of the print that you get. So
Yeah.
like when I print, I specifically print on, for example, Moab, Juniper, Burita, Rag 305. Or I print on Canson, whatever, so that it does make a little bit of difference. And you can kind of tell if you're using that profile, you can tell it does look a little nicer.
Interesting.
Can I
Okay,
ask
so Matt,
one,
go ahead.
can I ask one question? It will lead into the next topic.
Yep.
So when I submit my images to the club, I crop at all kinds of different sizes. I never pay attention to even sizes or standard sizes at all. So if you go to print those things that I've worked hard on, do I have to reformat them for an 8x10 or whatever the standard sizes are? Or can I just send out my file in whatever size it is, whatever shape it's in, and ask them to print a standard size?
Ooh, then they're going to crop it for you.
You know,
Yes.
when I do it
Yeah.
on Printique, they ask you if you want it to be the size. In other words, they'll put all the extra space around it. So you can cut it
Well,
after.
I don't know, Bob, if you noticed, like when Frank does the end of the year winners and hangs them at the library, he prints an
Yeah.
8x10. And some of them, it doesn't really matter because there's enough space around it.
Right.
But some of them you look at it and go, oh, it doesn't look as nice as it looked when I saw it that night of judging, because it wasn't in the 8x10 format.
right.
It was more in like a, whatever the other thing would be,
well,
So,
another problem is that the submission size is smaller than an 8x10.
Yep.
If we're doing 1500 pixels on the long side at 72 DPI, that's much smaller than what an 8x10 is at 300 DPI. So
so before you send
hard to
them
get-
out, you should try and resize it to a standard size make it presentable the way I like it, but in a standard size and not anything I choose.
Well, it sounds like when Quinn was using
Yeah.
that one place, they'll do whatever size you want.
And,
But like,
the cost of the print is going to vary depending on the size that
Right.
you're selecting to have, like a 5x7 is going to cost more than a 4x6, for example.
Right.
yeah, but like,
But then-
for example, if you wanted to print an 8x10 and you had cropped it to a different ratio, and you want to print an 8x10, then you really need to go in and resize it to 8x10 before you send it out to print. Otherwise, they're going to just make it fit, and you're going to lose your top, bottom, whatever side.
No, no,
because
no.
They're going to crop it to fit.
That's not true. When I use
Eh.
Printique, there's a button you can push and it will put the
Right.
white space around it. And then you
Right,
can
but not
trim
everybody
it.
has that, I think. Yeah.
Okay, some
Yeah, I'm just
do, I
saying, yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
Okay,
Just
thank you
a
very
couple-
much.
Couple of quick points. One to Jim's point, Do not send something out to be printed at the size that you submit it, because there aren't nearly enough pixels to do a decent size print from that. So what I do is I save a larger size file with many more pixels, and then I downsize that to submit the image. And the second thing is, a lot of these outfits, like MPix, give you a wide variety of aspect ratios that are available, and you can pick one that fits your image best, or you may end up having to do a little uh, changing of your crop to the closest size that fits.
Yeah.
But I think it's very important for number one is to be sure and send a large enough file, because otherwise you will get a very pixely, not so great image. And MPix, for instance, wouldn't take that size file. They will just tell you that's not adequate to get a good print.
Right.
Let me just say, when you're in the process of ordering and you have to choose a size first, and then you'll see how it fits or not. And if you don't like the way it's trimmed, you choose a different size.
And
or a
they'll
different-
tell you
because-
too the quality, how the quality will be when you you pick the size. It'll say, no, it's not a good quality. So if you
Because
do
the other thing
print
I'll
it,
tell you, oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
no, it's right. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna tell Bob, like, when we're submitting for competition, we just crop it to, hey, I'm not gonna worry about the actual size. I'm just gonna worry about how it looks good.
Yeah.
But if you want to print exactly how you entered it, then the only thing is you might have a little trouble. You're going to have to cut a custom mat or custom frame or something, because it might not fit in a standard size. So that's the only thing I would say about that. If you're going to eventually print it and then frame it, you want to be able to do that. So you might have to custom mat it, which I need to learn how to cut mats, and then frame it. So
Thank you.
Ambitious. All right, let's talk about matting. So 11% do not frame their photographs, 26% mat and frame their own, and 50% purchase the mats and frames. So 13% use online services for matting and framing. So these are the places that everybody suggested. Anybody want to speak on any of these?
I've used Jerry's Artorama and Dick Blick for quite a few years before I used to do it online, and some of them places went out. But I probably bought a bunch of mat boards, the big sheets at Jerry's Artorama 20 years ago, and I'm still using up some of them. And I usually get some white ones, some beige ones, because that's your neutral colors, and even have some black ones. So I've been using that, and I cut them all myself and mat them and mount them, and I can do any size I like because I'm custom cutting them myself. I bought
Where did you
my
learn? Where did
bought
you
it
learn how
at-
to cut your mats? Where did you
from
learn that?
David Royce.
David Royce.
I did it
Oh,
20 years ago. He gave a demo at the camera club how
Wow.
to do it. He might have even
right.
given a few. And then I went and I bought my own mat cutter, and I think it's an Outdoors or Aldo's. And I bought that at the Big E years ago, and I've been using that ever since.
Hmm.
And I do them so that way you can cut them any size you like and do it. And then I mount them. I have the foam board, I have the cardboard, or you can even use mounting board, or you can even use your mat board to mount them on. Just don't use plain cardboard that comes with the frame. And even my frames, I usually get them at tag sales. I use wood frames I have forever, unless somebody requests something else. If they want metal frames, I will go get them online. And actually, lately, I've been ordering them online, like the black ones, the metal ones, right from Amazon. And they're still a great price. So that's how I do my stuff.
I keep threatening that I'm going to go over to Bill Latornis' house because he lives not too far from me, and have him show me how to cut mats.
All you have to do is email Nancy. You can
Yep.
stop by and I will show you how to do that.
Drive by that house several times a week.
Yeah, yeah. You spend a couple hours doing it and you'll have that.
Yeah.
I used to go over to another friend's of my house that had a mat cutter, and that's where I did some cutting mats till I got my own. But and Dave Royce gave that demo years ago. I've even given a couple demos at the meetings before, on like after the break. on mat cutting and stuff. So, and even how to hang your photos. David Royce's method was kind of like what Kevin was saying, where you hang them, you hinge it to hang, and it's hanging there. Then you put your mat on top of that. And also, if you're cutting your own mats, or a standard one, somebody else mentioned this before, it's a 11 by 14. You want to put an 8 by 10 in it. Well, usually you lose a quarter of an inch on the side. So your opening up comes out to be 7.5. But if you're cutting them yourself, you can make an 1/8 inch. So that way you're gaining more of your picture out of there, depending what you need. So use them same techniques and worked out very well for years.
Maybe we could do another workshop at some point. Show
Yeah,
that.
I think mat
Figure out when to
cutting,
set it up.
I think mat cutting would be very helpful.
Yeah,
It-
Yeah.
so too.
That'd have to be an
Agree.
in-person workshop, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
We've had-
in person, yeah.
We've had many workshops over the years, both myself and Bill Attornes, in front of everybody right in the meeting hall. So they saw firsthand what it takes to put these things together. Worked out very well.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think that'd be great. Thanks.
That'd be
Thanks,
great.
Bill. Thanks, Bill.
Good
Put it on
idea.
the list.
Yeah.
Okay, was it Bill? You were gonna do a presentation on this?
The video.
I can do a little thing.
Okay.
I could
You know,
do a
I-
presentation.
You know, when I go to Simsbury Celebrates or art shows, other places, the one thing I find that I seem to be doing that other people aren't doing is I do mount my pictures with adhesive straight to the backing board so they're perfectly
Mm.
smooth. And I also attach the mat board to the backing board. I mean, when I'm done, I have it's perfectly lined up. It's all glued together and you can't see it, but there's not a blemish or a wrinkle anywhere in the picture. None of them when I do them. And I've been using Scotch spray adhesive, which I always thought was going to make a mess. But I've learned how to handle it. What I do, and this has been working quite well. I
Bill,
take
can
my
you share
mat.
your screen?
Pardon me?
Can you share your screen? It's very hard to see you in that little tiny square.
No, but I can't share the screen. You can.
Yeah, there I
Well,
can
can
see
you
it.
make my?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm
It
sorry.
didn't change the view to speaker view, I think.
Yeah,
So
change
I'm
it
gonna
to speaker and it'll be big, I
There you
think.
go.
Right? But what I do is I actually take the picture and I tape it to the back of the mat board facing forward so it can't move. And I do this before I get anywhere near the adhesive. So the picture is perfectly where I want it. And I do this down in my basement. I then take the backing board. I have it on the floor with a lot of Amazon cardboard boxes to protect my basement floor. And I spray the backing board from about, I don't know, 9 inches away in both directions. And the trick to handling this spray is to always have the can moving. Never start your spray while
Yeah.
you're on the back of, pointed at your subject. I learned this from modeling many years ago. So you get a nice, even application of the adhesive. And like I say, I run it both directions. And then the real trick. So I have a backing board that's completely covered with adhesive, not the picture, the backing board. I mount it on my workbench downstairs, pretty much vertical. It's covered in adhesive. I take the picture with everything in the perfect spot. I actually usually have it against my chin. They're both on the table, so I know one edge is perfect. I can feel the ends with my fingers, and then I just put them together, and I have something that's perfectly lined up. And then I start with, the roller, middle out. I don't even bother with wax paper. I found I never seem to bother the pictures. and I just get this thing that's perfect. It's just nice and smooth and everything's stuck together. I take them to shows like this. I don't even necessarily even put them in a frame. I just did 6 the other day, no flaws anywhere. It just works very well.
We're gonna be sending them to your house, Bill.
Yeah, you had told me this when we went to Simsbury Celebrates, because I attached the photo to the backing board and then put the mat over it. I don't glue the mat down. So then if I wanted to change the mat color from white to black or whatever, it's easy. But I like your way, because what I struggle with is getting that photo on the mat in the exact right spot for the mat, for the
That's
mat.
the
So
issue.
that's,
I don't care what
yeah.
they say. You really only get one try, and if you miss it, you got to go print another picture. And this,
I've been able to say, I don't put it down all the way, but yeah, I think your way is better.
yeah,
So I'm
using
gonna
the
start doing it
tape,
your way.
and it's it's artist,
Right.
non-acetic tape.
Yep.
There's very little holding it, and
Yeah.
like I say, every single one is perfectly lined up. And because they're attached to the backing board, they stay nice and smooth. I don't know, it's just worked, quite well. Then I've got
Yeah,
all my
I like
steps
that.
to frame it, but
Yeah,
and these
now
side
seeing
pictures.
it made it help. Yeah, thank you.
Pardon me, Nance?
Seeing what you did, because you explained it to me, but now seeing it, I remember what you told
Yeah,
me. And I was like,
putting
I
them
think that
together
works
on the
better.
desk
Yeah.
and then putting them together, it's perfectly lined up. If
Yeah.
the picture is mounted in the mat board with that tape, everything
Yep.
just comes out perfect every time. And
Yeah.
I do the adhesive on the floor, so it gets nowhere near the picture until I go to
Yeah.
put them together. So anyway,
Oh yeah, I have
it
all
just
kinds of
worked well.
paper down when I spray it, because I don't want to get the adhesive on
Yeah.
anything. I agree. Yeah.
I only sprayed the backing board, even though
Yeah.
they say some places not to. It's worked very well.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was my little trick that seems to be working.
Nice. So as far as frames are concerned, nobody cuts their own frame, right? Everybody usually buys them. Unless it's custom.
I have a delusion that I'm going to make some frames, because I don't know if you guys remember, but back like in January, somebody had emailed the club and said, hey, I have a bunch of free mats and framing materials. And I went over there and got a load. Then Amy and I went over and got another load. So she yells at me the other day. She's like, I still have all that stuff. And I go, well, you're the one that took it. So we have a bunch of framing materials, but I got to go figure out how to make frames. Maybe that'll be my retirement project.
Yeah, we have like 4 by 6 sheets of mats.
Oh, we have tons. We have a bunch of mats and we have a bunch of framing material.
Yeah.
That
Maybe
guy
you can
would
bring
have
that over
given
to
me.
maybe you can bring it over to Bill's.
Oh, hey, listen, that guy, he would have given us like the machines, but I was just like, I have nowhere to put this and no way to get it home. But he had all kinds of stuff. He was like, take it, take it, take it. And I was like, I don't know what to do with it.
I usually buy buy the frames at Michael's or at Jerry's, or I've ordered online. The other thing is if you the same ones that you can get at Michael's, if you want a bunch of the same ones, they're way cheaper to get, like 6 or 8 or 10 at a time.
Yeah.
But I've gone around to the Goodwill stores and that sort of thing, which is you can get some interesting old wooden frames, but then they're pretty oddball sizes. I mean, occasionally there are some standard ones, but then you're getting into like having to cut your own backing boards and mats and things like that a lot.
Yeah, Jim, you should share with the group the link to the Amazon page that you've had, where that seemed like a really good deal on frames.
Okay, let me go look for it, and I'll post.
Send it to the
I'll post it to the
club.
chat. Should I post it to the chat or to the?
You can send it to the whole group, to the
okay.
SCC Google's group.
Yeah, use the email.
I'll do that.
Yeah, thanks.
I had a question for Bill on the spray mount that he uses. Has it ever been a problem when the adhesive bleeds through into onto the print?
Mr. Payne.
I haven't had that issue. I use a 3M product too, I think. Let me see what it's called.
I use Scotch. I use
Oh.
Scotch photo mount adhesive, and I have never had a problem.
We.
Yeah, I use 3M Super 77.
Yeah, I haven't spoken too much about matte cutting, but I would suggest, please do not try and save money by reusing a blade numerous times. You will be very unhappy with the results.
Yep.
I found that most I can do 2 mats after that, change the blade.
Really?
The basic rule on mat cutting with the blades is, for small prints, you can do 2 or 3, but a big one, use them once, put a new blade in for the next one, or turn them around. Some are two-sided. So that way there, you're guaranteed you're gonna get good cuts, because if you got a dull blade, sometimes you don't even make it all the way through, or you get done, you got ragged edges.
Raggedy edges.
So you wanna make sure you buy the blades by the 100 pack, and that'll last you 20 years or more.
Interesting.
I won't be around in 20 years, so don't worry about that.
Well, I bought them 20 years ago and I'm still using them.
Does anybody else have any questions on matting or framing?
Can I
I
just,
have a comment to make on framing.
Yep.
As a guy
Okay.
who has had things framed, which I, in retrospect, thought, what was I thinking? I can order a print I like much better from MPix, and I can repurpose that frame by cutting through that paper in the back, and you can remove the entire thing. And if you've gotten the same aspect ratio size print, you can put that in there and seal it up, and nobody will ever know the difference. Repurpose your frames.
Right.
So I got a bunch of them in the basement that I go down and graze when I want to see if there's something I could make a print to fit in.
I
So
do
are-
know that Michael's always has that sale too, buy one frame, get 2 free, like around Christmas time, a couple times a year.
It's a
So
bunch.
frames are pretty inexpensive.
Close. Buy
Otherwise,
2,
can
get
I-
1 free, right?
I think
No,
it's-
buy
no,
one,
it's
get
buy
2 free.
one, get 2
Sometimes,
free.
yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, John, I have a question for you about and I know I've talked to you about this before, but your lack of use of glass. So I know you just put the frame, the mat and the photo into the frame with no glass. Do you worry about, like, do you put any kind of spray on it to protect the photo from, touching or anything like that? Or you just say, I don't really care about that?
When you think about it, who's going to be touching your photo? I mean,
I am.
well,
I
that's
can't
why
wait
you're
to
never
December. I'm
coming
gonna
over
touch
to
all
this
the
house. But no, who puts their fingers on photos? That hasn't been a problem ever. And
Okay.
I take all my glass out too.
have not been putting glass in front because to look good, you had to get the museum glass, which was very expensive.
Mhm.
And the other stuff, there was a downside to it. And I got to thinking, what am I protecting? And it really, I haven't seen deterioration in any of my pictures that aren't hung in direct sunlight anyhow.
Yeah, well, and that's the difference between getting the dye versus the pigment ink. The pigment does last longer and everything, and all the professionals use that. But kind of the reason I was asking was I was doing a little research on printing on the canvas, because somebody had given me some canvas. And I did some research and I was like, oh, what do you do? And I'm realizing that people spray these photos or put varnish on them. So the first one I did, I literally used like some varnish that I had from like Home Depot and painted on it. Worked fine. But then I saw some spray, which was made by Moab, but it was like super expensive because I don't know what the deal with shipping it was from like Amazon. It was like crazy ship. So I went to Dick Blick and I talked to them and I bought this Montana brand varnish spray. But when I was doing the research about the canvas, they said you can use this spray on all photos to protect them. And I was like, I don't know why I would need to spray a photo that I printed on paper, but maybe that's the reason. I don't know. So maybe I'm going to do a little more research on it. But I do spray the canvas ones.
I
don't put glass on mine either.
Yeah.
I took
Much
some
glare.
pictures that I was going to share just of how I've been printing or how I've been matting and framing mine.
Yeah.
I have to stop sharing, don't I?
I don't know.
Well, I think he has to request it. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess
I don't know where. Let me just
go to the
down at the bottom. It should be a red
should have
square.
something.
green
Sorry,
square.
can't
Your
find it.
share up there, it says up at the red top,
Oh,
right there, it says
Oh,
share,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
probably where you
okay,
need to go.
yep. And then change it to what?
Well, you should have like a little, this, no, I guess,
Yeah, there
I'm
should be a
thinking, there should
stop
be like a
share.
little box and it says stop
Yeah.
sharing.
Yep.
A little red box.
Just says share on it, doesn't say stop sharing though.
But Mark, I think if you try to
Hit-
share, it'll send her a request to
Oh,
not
well,
share.
that
Oh.
okay.
So if you hit escape,
Just hit allow on this. And Mark will be,
oh, I meant for
Oh,
Dolores.
okay.
It
It's
escaped.
not allowing
Yeah.
multiple. Okay.
If
It
she hits
did.
escape, it'll,
Wow. Now I gotta find.
Now let's see, share,
Zoom very good.
manage access.
And okay, now I have to find. Oh man, there's all kinds of.
Oh, stop sharing. I got it.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
I
So
get it. Did it stop sharing? No.
is it sharing or no?
it should be bottom center, stop share.
Am I
okay.
sharing now?
Nancy is, because
Yeah,
Nancy
Okay, so
started
I'll stop
screen
share, so
sharing.
now Mark can share.
Yeah,
Okay,
Sharing or no?
You should be able to share, I just shared without getting
yeah.
any permission.
Oh
Just
boy.
just a
Hey, Mark.
comment while the technical details are being worked out. Chris Fisher, who some of you know, used to be with the club, he mats and frames all of his pictures without glass.
Hmm.
And he has never had any problem with fading. Of course, you have to be careful not to bang it into something to damage it. But he feels very strongly that the reflections of light off the glass really interfere with the viewing of the photos. So I just pass that along as Chris's input and his actions.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thanks, Judy. So Mark, did you find the green share button down at the
Yes,
bottom?
I
I
just
There
did
we
did.
go,
stop
nobody's
share.
sharing now.
I
It's
think
asking
you
me
have to
what I
go
want
to the,
share,
whoever
so-
is the host has to go to, there's a
Well,
Yeah.
nobody's sharing
the
now.
Okay.
host to
We're
allow
good.
sharing.
It's not gonna work. That's
Found the stop.
Oh, we
I
see
found the
you.
stop share button. Yep.
We could
Down the
see in full
bottom.
screen.
Mark, just
Yeah.
hit your whole screen.
Oh, Frank's on. Hi,
Ah,
Frank.
now I have to go back to.
Oh,
No,
there
just
you
go
are. You're
down
on.
and
We got
Oh, it
you.
is
We can see you.
Yeah, but it's
right
not
there.
sharing his screen.
right. So down the bottom of your screen,
Oh,
put
you're
your
not
cursor
seeing what
down
I'm
there.
seeing?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just hit the share.
we're not seeing your screen.
Okay.
So when you
Let me
click
hit
on the
share.
share, it's going to ask you what you want to share.
Right.
And then to Frank's point, just say share my whole screen.
Open system settings. Is
Uh,
that?
No,
No, it's the
Oh.
bottom center of the page
Yeah.
frame.
If you pull your cursor down to the bottom, there's a green thing that
Yeah,
says share.
that I got, but then it opens up a thing that asks me, oh, entire screen.
It's in the top left, Mark.
Yep, I see it. And then share. But then it wants to open system settings or,
yeah, you have your security settings such that it's not allowing you to share.
okay, well,
Yeah.
never mind. I'll just tell you a little bit about, I just had a picture with all my tools and materials and all that sort of thing, the wire and the hooks and the T-square and the mat cutter and a wire cutter, that sort of thing. Let's see. Oh, and then I had some with the different attachments for the wire, and used eye hooks for a while, and then I realized they're scratching the wall. So the D rings are much better, obviously. The other thing was that sort of like what Kevin was saying earlier, is that I used to tape all the way around the photo to the mat, but it's hard to get it like really flat that way. So I started um, creating where I tape just one line of two-sided tape along the top of the photo. And what I've been doing for some is like I take some self-adhesive linen tape and sort of hinge the mat to the backboard.
Yeah.
And the other thing about taping to the backboard is sort of like what John was saying, is that I can take things out, store them, and reuse the frame, and I can even reuse the mat as well. So
Yeah, Mark, I'm doing the same thing. I use that linen tape, and my photos will actually hang. So they're not actually fully bonded or secured to a backing board. They're just pretty much hanging behind the mat. So that's the way I've been doing it. Um, I did have one print, a big print, like 16 by 20, professionally done here in town,
Something to write.
and that was done with a spray adhesive, and it bubbled over time. So that print's been on my wall for about 20 years. And after about 15 years, it started to develop bubbles in the wall. And it was an
Interesting.
exterior wall. And I was told that was due to the temperature difference between the exterior wall and the interior that led to that bubbling. But I know other members who have been doing this for years with absolutely no issue. So you just take it for what it's worth. But my approach has been I hang the photo with linen cloth from the top edge only.
Yep. And right, I used to tape from the back and tape it onto the mat instead. But what I discovered is the same thing can happen if you're taping all the way around, then you're going to get buckles. And especially the larger your print, the more prevalent that could be and more noticeable. So
Yep.
that's what I've been doing.
Yep. Thanks, Mark.
You don't need to do it all the way around, as long as you have it on the top.
Well, that's what I
Yeah.
discovered is that
Yeah, yeah.
it makes it worse if you do it all
Or
the
you
way.
could put one little piece at the bottom if you want, but yeah, not all the way.
Yeah.
Does
Also,
anybody have, go ahead.
one more thing is that I know, like Nancy said, if you're going to put it in a frame, the foam board can be too thick sometimes. But I know that there's also a self-adhesive foam board that you may want to use for mounting.
Where do you buy that from usually?
That's at Jerry's or any of the stores.
Where is that place? Is that in Simsbury? Jerry's?
West Hartford.
West
Hartford.
Elmwood.
The Britain Avenue.
Elmwood.
Yeah.
Dick Blick is a good place too. They're in Plainville,
Yeah.
which is a little farther for probably most people in the club, but yeah.
I'm trying to find my,
And Dick Blick has the linen tape and the different artist tapes. It's about an eighth of a mile from where I live, so it's very convenient for me. But
They're very helpful there too.
yep.
just go back down there. All right, does anybody have any more questions on matting and framing?
I have a question about matting, about like standards. Does everyone feel like it has to be an equidistant, equal matting all the way around the picture, or are there some pictures like when it's an off size or something where maybe the sides are more narrow than the top and bottom, or like I bought a watercolor from an artist when I was on a trip to Salzburg, and the way he framed it or matted it, the matte portion was larger at the bottom so that he could write something in that section. Is there a standard rule, like a do not do, like,
Nope.
is there
I don't
anything
think so.
Okay.
I think it's your artistic vision.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
What looks
Be
good
creative.
to you? And
Yeah, looks
honestly,
good.
you may not even need a mat in some instances.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Years
you.
ago, I don't know if people in the club remember, but a few years ago, we had somebody, I have no idea what his name was. He came in, talked to us about framing. I don't know if it was about printing, but matting and framing it. And that was one thing he said, that you always mat a photo. And his thing was because that way the print is not touching the glass. But
Right.
getting back to all the people that don't put glass on there doesn't
Mm.
matter. But I do feel like sometimes I always put a mat on there, but maybe I don't need to if I don't use the glass. Because I think that was his point, like it could potentially stick to it. But I
Think a
agree
mat.
with Quinn. I feel like, everything is your creative
What looks
choice.
good to you?
Yeah,
Right.
okay.
If you
I'm
like
just
it.
thinking like
And
Quinn,
I-
I'm thinking of your 4x8, like maybe it doesn't, maybe the sides are narrower because the whole thing is longer, like taller.
Yeah.
So maybe whatever. Anyway, okay, thank you.
Good question.
Any
more questions?
You mentioned.
There's this
Cam-
classic thing where if you go to, I went to a professional framer for something that was an odd size, and the bottom part of the mat is typically a little bit wider than the top section.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I had a professional photographer tell me that they did that because visually the way your eyes saw the image, you always wanted to have additional space at the bottom. I mean, that was back in like 1982 when this guy was showing me how to frame, but he always added space at the bottom. He said it's just the human eye and the way that you're going to visualize the image in the frame, you got to add a little more space.
That's how I was taught in college. It was like the picture, whatever it was, printmaking, photography, all the things I did in college, they needed a base. And it also gave you room in that case for signature line kind of thing. But that was more of art, like art things like paintings and things like that. But okay, thank you.
So, for those people who don't use glass, it seems to me the frames are designed to have whatever the depth of the glass is. So is there any issue with putting it in? And then do you need a thicker back in order to have a proper fit within the frame?
No, I never have a problem, and none of mine have glass. I don't use a board either. So if you have a board, that would make
any
up the
kind of an
difference.
issue.
No. Anybody else? Move on. Okay. So adding wires, 37% do not add wires to their frame, so they must use a sawtooth, but 63% do add wires. Now, the thing is, if you're entering your photos in an exhibit or a competition, they often require wires. So it's a good thing to know how to do. One competition, they said you could put it just in the mat and then they Velcroed it or something to the wall, but usually people add wires. So I had put a couple of links, and you can't click on them because it's in the PowerPoint, but I can send them out to the group, and they're all a little different, how to measure, where to put the eye hooks and all that, or the whatever you're using. How to put the wire on, how to twist it the right way. But does anybody have any comments about this or suggestions?
I thought all the videos were very good and very detailed that
Did you watch them?
Yeah.
You watched them?
I actually did.
Yeah. Good. They're all a little different. They all have I had a really good one and I couldn't find it. Yeah, the guy was really good, but let's see if I can find that one. Okay, and then outside competitions and exhibits, a lot of people from not a lot of people, actually a few of us have entered photographs in some of these competitions and exhibits, and it's a lot of fun. And it's a good representation of our club, and you can even make some money. So I think Quinn's got a lot to say about this subject, right?
How are we holding up? I know we're like well past the hour.
Oh, no, it's
Okay,
fine.
It's fine.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to share my screen. Let's see.
I have to stop sharing. Hold on.
Okay. Let me know if you see.
Oh, where'd it go?
You see it.
They stop.
Yeah, you're not sharing anymore.
Okay, good.
There she go. Quinn's is coming in now.
You see my screen now?
Not yet. It's coming in though. Yep, we're good.
There we go.
Okay. I'm going to put in, hang on.
Oh.
Put in presenter mode. Okay. So, I think like Dolores said, it's a lot of fun entering outside exhibitions. I think some of you might be aware that I'm a painter as well. So between painting and photography, I do enter a lot of exhibits throughout the state. I usually have, something somewhere at any given time. So for those who might be interested in going down this route, and I know there are others within our club who do enter outside exhibits. Gonna, um, Mark, Mark does a lot, quite a bit, and I know others as well. But if you're interested in sort of pursuing this, I think these are some of the considerations to think about. So I'm sort of here to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of outside exhibition. So in no particular order, certainly entry fees. There's almost always an entry fee, and these can be quite expensive. They can, in my experience, they've ranged anywhere from $10 up to 60 plus, depending on how many images you might want to submit. Another consideration is, do you have to be a member of that particular organization in order to enter? And if it's yes, then that means there's another fee to become a member in order to enter that particular exhibit. Is it an online or a physical gallery or venue? I haven't really done many online exhibits. I've done mainly physical galleries. But at the same time, these physical galleries will also have an online gallery of accepted works. Is there a specific theme? Some of the galleries will build their exhibit, their show around a particular theme. Like, for example, it's New England landscape or, and whatever else. Many of the exhibits are completely open. So sort of any theme, any genre will do. Is it juried for acceptance? In my experience, I think most of the ones that I've entered is indeed juried for acceptance. So just because you enter doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get in. And for some of these, that acceptance rate can be quite low, less than 20% in some instances. So, it's kind of like when we submit to competition, right? For our monthly competition, it's a juried process. So it really kind of depends on your attitude going into this process. Because in my experience, I've been rejected just as often as I've been accepted. And it's sort of, in the beginning, it was kind of like a huge blow. Like, oh my God, I'm never going to do this again. But somehow I keep on going. So it's sort of your attitude, how you feel about whether it's going to get accepted or not. There are some that have open acceptance. It's not jury, and I'll talk about that a little bit more. But most of them are juried for acceptance. And then another thing to think about is the method of submission. Is it purely digital and online? For submission, or there are some galleries that will request that you submit the piece in person for acceptance. So what that means is that if it doesn't get in, then gosh, now you got to go pick it up and retrieve it. So it's kind of a double whammy there. Another important consideration, this is a big one on my list, is the distance and the timing, especially, for those physical galleries. Are you going to be able to, is the distance worth it? Is the drive worth it? If your work gets accepted and you have to go drop it off and pick it up, and does the timing for drop off and pick up work? And then usually there are awards. That's true. But those awards are few. just a couple of awards out of hundreds of pieces in a particular show. So they are monetary awards, and they can range anywhere, in my experience, again, anywhere from like $50 to several $100s. But again, those are few and far in between. And then I think another important consideration is if you're interested in selling your work, then you have to think about pricing of that, and considering that most places will take a commission. That's anywhere I've seen between 20 and 50% commission. Typically, it's going to be around 35 and 40%.
Hey,
So,
Gwen, can I
yeah,
ask you a quick question?
yeah,
How
absolutely.
do you determine how much to charge for your work? And I know you do painting and photo, and it's probably very, very different between those two, but how do you come up with a price?
Yeah, those two are very different. I think it's a complete crapshoot.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
It's a huge
Yes, it
range,
is.
and I've seen many exhibits, and the price, the range is just ridiculously huge.
Yeah,
Like you could see within the same show something that's like $50 up to like $10,000. So it really doesn't matter.
yeah.
It's
I
how
guess as long as you're happy with what you
Yeah,
get.
as long as you're
Yeah,
happy. And how I approach it is, what am I happy getting for this piece? Like, how long have I had this? Like, how much do I want to like unload this piece? What price would I be happy at? And then I will add the commission price on
right.
top of it.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it varies. And we can probably have an entire discussion, entire panel on just pricing alone.
Mhm.
Just
Really.
yeah. Yeah.
Do you want to
I
talk
really,
about any of the places that you've
yep,
had, that you've
yep. I'm
done?
gonna
Okay.
get to that
Oh,
next.
okay. Yep.
So, these are some of the places that I have exhibited at. And I'll point out, and Mark, jump in. Mark enters a lot as well. I really like Gallery 53. It's in Meriden.
Yeah.
It's a
Yep.
great gallery to start with if you're going to go down this route, and if you have this desire to exhibit, because everything gets accepted. It is not juried for acceptance. They will limit you to two pieces. Um, it is juried for awards, but not for acceptance. And they do have multiple shows throughout the year. And typically, all of their shows are multimedia. So, photography, paintings, sculpture, fiber art, all sorts of things. They also have at least one dedicated photography exhibit each year. And the folks there are just lovely people, really nice. So I really like Gallery 53. Shoreline Arts Alliance. They host images each year, and it's a really um, competitive process to get in. I think I've seen acceptance rates typically less than 20%. But it's a really great one. It's dedicated to photography, and I believe it's like the longest statewide photography show in Connecticut. Um, yeah, and that's hosted by Shoreline Arts Alliance. And the last 2 years, they've had their exhibit at a gallery down in New Haven called Keller Lytle Gallery. Not sure I'm pronouncing it correctly. And prior to that, they held it at the Lime Art Academy. So it's a pretty, it's a neat one. It's a pretty prestigious one. And then we have a lot of art leads and art centers in our area, our greater Hartford area. West Hartford Art Lead, Windsor Art Center, Art Center East is in Vernon, in New Britain, and Mark probably knows of others as well. And they have shows throughout the year. many of them multimedia. I think all these places also have photography only shows as well.
And let me
I
just
will
jump in,
say,
because
yeah, Mark, jump in.
Art Center East, West Hartford Art League, and Art League of New Britain, all three of them have, I think, either in January or February, they all have a photography show coming up. So
Yeah.
you're looking for some place to enter. And uh, the Art Center East, I know their submissions are due sometime in, I think, mid-December or early December. So same things to keep an eye out for.
Yeah. And if you're interested, go on their website, explore, sign up for their email distribution list, follow them on Facebook, and that's how you learn about these exhibit opportunities.
Yeah, and if you're a member, you get it's a lower rate to
Yes.
enter a piece.
Usually,
And
yes.
you
Yeah.
get their newsletters and their website, and you can go look at classes that they offer as well. Yeah, for a
Right.
lot of different classes.
Right. Yep. And then I'll touch on the three on the top of the slide here. So I like things that where any proceeds might go to support really important causes. So I really like the Hospital for Special Care. They have a dedicated Joy of Art program, and many of us we participated in that through the Camera Club last year, and that was really, really successful. I think several of our members actually, sold works there, and it's super hard to sell artwork, period. So anytime anything sells, it's like, oh my goodness, that's amazing. But I think at least 3 or 4 of our members had pieces sold when we participated with Hospitals for Special Care through this. But aside from our participation with them last year, they also have an annual jury show that you can enter into, and it's multimedia, so there's paintings, there's photography and other stuff, but obviously the proceeds go to, and the commission that they take goes to support the hospital. Granby Land Trust is another one. I don't know how many folks are aware of that. It's multimedia, and I think it's actually coming up soon, the deadline submission for that. But there is a photography component, a photography specific award that's given out as part of that. And then the Town of Somers, and Dolores knows a lot about this one. Their cultural commission has a couple of annual shows. There's one that is photography specific. So these are the ones that, I personally know about and have participated in. And I'll pause there, see if anybody else wants to add anything on this.
I think everybody should enter one piece and at least one thing a year just to get the feel for it. No, really, it's
Yeah.
exciting. Yeah.
Hey.
Anybody else?
So, yeah, so I was just going to end with a couple of heads up, and we've heard about this, or I think part of the rationale for putting this panel together tonight is to get people excited and sort of over this intimidation factor about printing and displaying. So we have a couple of opportunities coming up. In December is our club exhibit at the library, and Amy is the head on this and has made all these wonderful arrangements for us for this exhibit to happen with the reception on December 6th. So, hopefully we'll have a lot of great participation from members of the club. And then finally, March of next year, we have another group exhibition opportunity that's going to be happening at Almost Famous Brewing Company that is located in East Granby. It's a really nice and fun place. So I hope that a lot of us will also be excited and wanting to participate in that. So that was it for me.
Thank you very much for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Quinn. Nice.
Okay, I'm going to stop sharing.
So before we wrap up, does anybody have any questions on anything we talked about tonight? Any more questions? No?
I just have a
I hope-
comment. Doris,
Yep.
that I'll be sending out an email on the library display about the hanging system, what size photos that framed. They had a couple new members ask about that. One was going to be hanging during one of the months, and then for December. And I'll just send kind of a recap out, and then people can kind of they can just email me back if they have any questions.
Sure. And if anybody wants to send out their presentation from tonight, even Bill, or who was it who didn't? Mark. If you want to send yours out, yeah, and then I'm gonna put some notes together too.
Hey, Amy.
Yeah.
Amy, when you send out that, if you get like a little picture and you can just get it off Amazon of the library hanging system, I found that helps people
Yeah, the clip
understand.
rail.
Yeah.
I was going to do that because I find that the sawtooth is a
Some of
little.
the work, but yeah, the
It'll
wire's the
work, but
best.
you really kind of want a wire. And if you have a very large, heavy picture, it might be a little bit difficult to hang. I mean, Susan Case had that last year, but we got it to work. But yeah, mostly 8x10s, 11x14, 16x20s. We don't want something massive, but you can really kind of pick the size. So you don't have to adhere to a certain size. We don't have to be uniform with the frames. They can be all different kinds. So yeah, I'll send an email out early on just so people
Yeah,
can.
we have some pictures on our website from last year's
Yeah.
presentation, so they can go look at that as well.
Yeah, and head down to the library and see Chris's exhibit. You can kind of see how his are hung as well.
Is the club show juried?
Oh,
No.
no.
No, but you could sell your photo if you want. You can
Yes.
price on it.
Yeah.
And
And
you're
this
coming
year
up
we're gonna have standardized labels,
labels.
right,
Yeah.
Amy?
Yes, if I can get around to
Poor
doing
Amy.
it.
So
Amy
Amy
loves
sending
organizing
out a
stuff.
label
Don't feel bad
template.
for her. She loves this crap. She probably got a spreadsheet of everything all built for it. Just like she's like her and Bill Payne, we get along great. Their spreadsheets.
And Jim, likewise, the March show at Almost Famous, we can also, if we want to, sell our work there. And I forgot to mention, Almost Famous, they do not take a commission.
Ooh,
Oh, that's good. That's really good.
Oh, and anyone on the call, January just opened up for a library display. So if you didn't get enough in December and want to hang in January, let me know.
I have, first of all, I'd like to thank all the people who put work into this presentation tonight. It's been really interesting. But one of the things I was wondering about is the list of places that came up on the first couple of slides about places that people use for various services. I was kind of hoping for, are those only the ones that people liked? Or is
Yes.
okay.
Those are the ones that came off the survey, and I have a few more. And I'm going to put a document together and send it out to everybody with the list of what we had. But if anybody wants to add any more, just email me. I'll add them to the list if they weren't mentioned.
Okay, so hopefully there's none on there that people absolutely hated and thought they gave terrible service.
Right. There's pros and cons to all of them, I guess. Yeah, if they liked them, they put them on the list.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay, anybody else before we should close? All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Really very interesting. And I hope a lot of people are encouraged to join in December.
And thanks, Dolores, for putting this
Dolores.
together.
All right. Thank you,
Yeah,
Dolores.
it's been
Welcome.
very
Thank
good.
you.
And Amy
Dolores.
too for
Great session.
thank you.
Yep. Yep. Have a good night, everybody.
Okay.
All right.
Good
Good
night,
night,
all.
everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Thank you.